would consider these are do's or don'ts, but the...
Welcome to my life.
Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another episode of The Gloving Paradigm, where I am your host, Peter, aka LPG Dubuque, the cringiest glover on YouTube.
One extremely annoying shift later.
So, what is it this week that I want to talk about? Well, with people going back to festivals, meetups are happening again, raves are happening again, to a certain extent. Activities and gatherings are happening again, and so what happens at gatherings is what a lot of people like to do, and that is trading. And it has been brought up to my attention by various people on various platforms about trading and pretty much how people have been going about it and how they feel like some people are not going about it properly. Not really sure what they exactly mean by that, but I have been requested by multiple people within the community to do an episode on trade etiquette. And I'm kind of surprised by this because I thought I did one, but then I found out that wasn't trade etiquette, that was feedback etiquette. So just plain feedback in general. I'm like, okay. I guess I have to make an episode like this.
Well, have you thought about, I don't know, not doing that?
Which, I'm okay with that. I am totally okay with that. I am happy to make any episode that somebody needs me to make for them. Whatever it may be, I will do my best to make it. So first thing I want to go over is, what is a trade? Why do we call it a trade? What is it about this term that we keep using? Well, I don't know if you actually didn't watch my episode on gloving terms, which you'll find right up here somewhere. I find it interesting that some people don't know what this term actually means, but we're just going to go over it again. So basically, the definition of a trade is a mutual exchange between two flow artists or multiple flow artists, because I've seen trades happening with 4 people before. Just wanted to point that out. A mutual exchange between two flow artists for performances for the purposes of either entertainment, commentary, education, or competition. Yes, surprisingly enough, you can actually have trades in a competitive capacity. It's called pit battles.
Okay.
But the reason why people like calling it trades is because you're just literally exchanging your shows to each other. You give one person a show and that person gives you a show back. But even trade, a mutual exchange, a barter system, as it were. Stop me before somebody shoots me.
The power. The facility. Jesus wept!
Stop saying Jesus wept.
Anyway, so the reason people do this is, maybe there's a very well-known glover that they've been wanting to give a light show and get a light show from. That's the reason why people like to trade. Another one is just to have a lot of fun. And if you're a glover and you want to watch light shows, you want to get them from other glovers. Other glovers also want to get light shows too. It's pretty rare for, at least from my experience, it's pretty rare for a well-known glover who's out there giving light shows to kind of turn down a trade just because they don't want to do light shows. Like, they're there to give light shows, so why not give it to the person who also wants to give you a light show? You know what I mean? Now, I do want to stress that we are all human beings and we all have limitations. We hit limits of energy. You know what I mean? So if somebody's tired from giving a lot of trades and you ask for a trade and they say, not right now, please be patient. They are human beings. They need to recharge. Okay, we're not machines. Even machines, if you keep them running constantly, will eventually stop and break down. Human bodies are the same way. But there's other reasons why we give trades. A lot of people just want to show some of the stuff they've been working on with their friends, and their friends will show what they've been working on with their friends. You know, they exchange different ideas together. That's the whole idea of trading. You know, if you know how a barter system works, which barter means trade, you know, you exchange money for a service or product, that is a barter system. It's the same kind of application here. And it's all for different reasons. You know, you have it for people who just want to get some ideas, get some feedback, show new ideas, show demonstrations, help people get educated, or even on a competitive capacity just to say who had the better concepts or who had the better show overall. There are different ways to go about doing a trade. Now, I know some of you are probably going to be asking, okay, well that's really cool. Where do I go to do trades? Well, pretty much you go anywhere where there is a gathering of glovers. Okay, so you have meetups, which is a very important one, in-person comps. You even have online platforms like Discord. You can go there as well. They have virtual trades, as they call it, because it's on a virtual system. You guys know where I'm coming with this. Come on now. And of course, the other places that you can do trades at are festivals and raids. And we don't have these yet, but I'm hoping that we get to this point soon. Conventions. Yeah, I want a gloving convention. We need to have conventions for gloving. It's just what I want. But yes, these are various places, or various examples, I should say, that you can go and get trades, because that's where glovers are going to gather. They're going to go to these festivals. They're going to go to these rave venues. You know, they're going to go to these clubs. They're going to go to these, you know, whatever establishment that's going to host EDM events. That's one place they're going to go. Even, flow meetups is another grand example where people like to go and get trades from, because it's literally the small scale equivalent of what a convention is. You just go and meet up and you're just trading, vibing out with everybody, listening to music, trading shows, getting shows, trading different ideas of color sets, flash pattern sets, whatever the case may be. Basically, trades is just an exchange of ideas between two performing artists. Understandable? So, I explained where you can go, I explained why people do this, how people do this. But I do need to kind of stress about etiquette. Because just like feedback and just like competitions, it's good sportsmanship and stuff like that, we all have to have a sense of etiquette. Now, if you don't know what I mean by etiquette, it is pretty much a system of manners. Okay, you know, table manners is a good form of etiquette. You know, you have dining etiquette, you have theater etiquette where you turn off your phone and you don't talk during the movie. You know, that's what we mean by etiquette. They're like do's and don'ts. Now, I'm going to stress this heavily because I don't like this idea that people think that I'm trying to put out these ironclad rules. No, these are guidelines that this is the general ideas that I get. This is the kind of what I feel like most of the people in the community kind of agree upon. This is the consensus, if you were, on how to go about trade etiquette. So, depending on where you are, it's going to dictate how a trade's going to happen. Now, generally a trade is you go up to another person who is also a glover in this case, since we're both glovers, since we're all glovers here. You know, I know there's other flow artists within the gloving community, but I'm just saying, for the example here, we're going to use glovers. So, I'm a glover, I see another glover I would like to exchange my show with and get a show from them. I go up and say, hey, would you like to have a trade? If they say yes, then you guys move off, find a spot, and conduct your trade. Now, kind of like how games are like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, or even on like Leagues of Legends and stuff like that, there's a way to determine who goes first. Same kind of application here. Do you need to flip a coin? No. A general consensus that I've always heard people say that if you know you are the more experienced one, you should go second. And I understand, and it drives me up the wall that this is a thing, but I understand at the same time. Because younger, less experienced people will have a tendency, not all the time, but will have a tendency to feel intimidated when they have somebody who's very skilled in their craft. I've seen it time and time again. It has happened to me many, many times. So I'm always going to say I'm going to go second. It's just because I've been doing this for 11 years plus that it's very, very rare that I'm going to meet somebody who's been doing it longer than I have. And the people that I know who have been doing it longer than I have, I know who they are. And they're not always there. So I always just like going second anyways. Even if somebody's more experienced than I am or more skilled than I am, I'm still going to let them go second because honestly, I feel comfortable about my craft. I feel comfortable about my performance that it doesn't matter who goes first. But I'm always going to choose second anyways because I like the idea of just the chivalry of it. You know, I like to just let the other person go first. You know, let them have their fun. And then, you know, they can tune out on my show if they want, if they don't find it interesting. I'm totally okay with that because you know what? I'm comfortable with it.
So that was a fucking lie.
So you do that, you figure out who goes first, then that person goes first, and then you're like, all right, cool, that was awesome. You know, a good tactic, in my opinion, or a good tact method is just praise what you like from that show before you go to throw the show. So if you're the person going second, just praise the show for what you liked and then go to throw. The reason why I say that is because one, I don't want you holding them up with like feedback at that time unless they ask for it. And two, they probably don't want to sit there and listen to that stuff while they just want to get that exchange. So just try to keep your comments to a minimum when you go to switch places, if that makes any sense. So then the exchange happens, right? Person one goes, then person two goes. There you go. Now you guys have completed essentially a trade. Now you guys can sit there and talk about it. Okay? You can talk about what you liked and what you probably didn't like, what probably needs some improvements on, things of that nature. That's totally fine. However, I definitely want to stress something here for everybody. Depending on your location and setting, it's going to dictate how a trade's going to be conducted afterwards. So if you're at a meetup, in-person comp, or even at a convention, which I would certainly hope happens, these are the places I feel are perfect for people to exchange feedback on, to work on, to educate, to commentate, you know, all that stuff. Because that's kind of what those are curated towards. They're curated to the development of gloving. When you're at a festival or a venue, majority of the time, and I can certainly say this from my own experience, majority of the time, people don't want feedback. They are not there to get the feedback. They are there to just have fun and experience the experience that's going on at this venue, at this event. Now, if somebody asks you while you're at these events, such as like a festival or rave, and they ask for feedback, they're asking for it, so you're allowed to give it. I would certainly say if no one's asking for your feedback, you should not be giving it. Only when it's asked, okay?
Right, yeah, got it.
And I can't stress this enough because I've seen this happen at raves and at venues before. And let's just say some people get a little salty over it, you know, just a little salt. On that stuff because they're not there to get feedback and to get, they like to put it, don't like to get criticized while they're trying to have fun. And I get it. Nobody wants to have their buzz kill happen. You know, you don't want that buzz to be killed. They don't want their vibe to be flattened out because of it. And a lot of people get turned off by getting feedback at these points. Now, I understand if you want feedback at any given point, you just have to tell me, hey, do you have any feedback for me? If you tell me that you want some feedback, then I'll give you some feedback. Of course, I'm going to ask you the questions. So, how did you feel about your show? And that's where we're going to start exchanging ideas, because what's going to happen at that point is that you're going to tell me what your intentions were in your show, and then I'm going to tell you how I perceived your intentions. And that's where the coalition of ideas is going to start happening. That's where we're going to start to refine the techniques, refine the concepts, refine the formalities that is in a show. So that's one of the major things that I always want to point out, okay? So if you're at a meetup, if you go to a meetup, you're going there to exchange your ideas with other like-minded individuals. That's where you can get your feedback. That's where you can actually sit there and do other activities like tabletop activities, which, if you don't know what tabletop activities are, tabletopping as it's a colloquial term, it's basically when you and another glover are facing each other and you are working off of each other's different concept chains. So I would have my hands out like this, and the other person would probably be like finger tutting around my hands, and then I have to respond with what they're proposing. So I propose something, they respond or propose a new position, which I then respond to. That is essentially tabletopping. That's where we're going to start exchanging ideas and concepts to actually expand, refine, and create. Those are different versions of trades that you can have. Now, when it comes to a competition trades, or what we know them as most likely is pit battles, but yes, in-person competitions do have trade sections where people can go and trade and stuff. Not disclaiming that. Or discrediting, excuse me. I mean discrediting that.
Don't even trip, dog.
Okay. Now, if you're at an in-person comp and you're doing trades, another great place to get feedback, because even if you're not in the competition, you are going to see what's in the competition and see what's the meta, and then you can have these discussions with other glovers to kind of work on that. And of course then you guys can trade and then talk about it. That's where things like education and commentary comes into play. Again, pit battles is probably the best online version of that, because it's literally just two people throwing, and then the community itself kind of talks about it. Yes, they have judges kind of dictate. Majority of the time they have 3 judges, but they always have a popular vote for the funds, for the funsies that they put it. I actually like the idea that they keep putting the voting poll, even if they do the 3 judges, because they want to see how the community reacts. Okay, and that's something I feel like is very, very important. So pretty much what you need to understand when it comes to trades and trade etiquette, you need to keep in mind where you are and what you're doing there. So if you're at a venue or a festival, your intention should be, I'm there to have fun and melt faces, and that's it. You're just there to have the entertainment of the experience. If you're at a meetup or a convention or even an in-person comp, that's more of the mutual exchanges of ideas and commentary and education with demonstrations and all that stuff. But either way, trades is probably one of the most vital parts of the community to grow and evolve, because that's where we are exchanging not only shows but ideas, and exchanging methods, and exchanging techniques, and exchanging concepts, all the things that we like to talk about constantly. So that's pretty much it for my episode. I don't think I need to go in any further. I certainly hope you guys enjoy what I had to say in this one. Holy crap, I didn't think that this was actually going to be an episode that I need to make, but you know what, I like it when people give me episode ideas that I never thought of before. So if you have any questions on this episode or anything I did not cover in this episode, you have the wonderful places on social media you can hit me out. They're all linked down in the description below. And of course, you can also find me on the other platforms I'm on down below as well, like Discord, Instagram, Facebook, as much as I hate Facebook now. You guys have all these places you can hit me up at. Do not hesitate to ask me. Hit me up at my email, which is muttonchopguy@gmail.com. Look right here. Good stuff. And of course, if you like the content that I'm making and you wish to help me make better content, besides just liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel, you have the wonderful opportunity to donate to me at Ko-Fi. Yes, I have a Ko-Fi. Please donate to my Ko-Fi so I may continue listening to lo-fi.
Do it, 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 do it.
I love that slogan. I don't care what anyone says. But yep, that is pretty much all from my episode. Once again, thank you for watching and listening to what I have to say. If it wasn't for you guys' continued silent moral support, I don't think I would still be doing this almost 3 years later. So yep, I absolutely love you guys, but I am your host, Peter, aka LPD Dubuque, and I'll see you all next week.